Hey folks, Dr. Bret Weinstein here in beautiful Ronda, España. Now, I am asking for Rhonda's help in running a little experiment.
Longtime listeners will know I have a severe wheat allergy triggered by even the tiniest contact with wheat.
Many people have asked me, on the basis that it is pretty well known that I have a very serious wheat allergy, if I've ever gone to Europe and tried to eat their bread, because many people report that even though they have a wheat allergy that manifests in the United States, that if they eat wheat in Europe, it doesn't affect them.
Have you been to Europe lately?
I have been to Europe lately.
And can you eat the wheat there?
I don't know.
Now, I rather suspect I will still have that effect if I eat European wheat, but I've never run the experiment before because the trips have always been short enough that I was afraid to ruin a trip over an experiment like this. Well, Heather and I are here for 3 weeks, and I've decided that's long enough that I can afford to run the experiment. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about why I think I have a wheat allergy, what it means, and what my hopes and concerns are about this experiment.
My allergy to wheat, the only way it adds up is probably a flu shot.
Best guess for me is that I have a wheat allergy, which was induced probably by a flu shot that I got early in college. My guess is that the adjuvant in the flu shot caused my immune system to react to antigens in my diet. I also gave myself an allergy to marijuana, which I was smoking a lot of at the time. Probably not a wise thing, but in any case, I think my run-in with an adjuvant, probably in a flu shot, caused my immune system to recognize molecules that weren't part of a pathogen as if they were part of a pathogen and to react to them. And so now, interestingly, if I try marijuana, even if I eat it, my lungs fill with mucus. So the reaction is local to my lungs, even if the route of consumption is that I've eaten it, which I find fascinating, of course. Now, when I have run the experiment with marijuana, and I haven't had any pot in a long time, but the last time I ran the experiment, it was quite clear that one exposure caused minimal symptoms, but a second exposure anytime in close proximity was enough to cause the full reaction. So I don't know what's going to happen here with the wheat. I have not consumed anything with wheat intentionally in, I think it's been over a decade.
So you can even drink a beer.
Oh, no. I haven't had a beer in more than a decade.
That does not mean I haven't had wheat. I've certainly been, as the experience of anybody who's got an allergy to wheat, which is what I have, or an allergy to gluten, which is one of the molecules in wheat. But for anybody who has that experience, we, of course, get poisoned on the regular, either because something that isn't supposed to have wheat in it gets a little wheat. You know, somebody puts soy sauce into things thinking that it doesn't have any wheat. And of course, soy sauce, that's not tamari soy sauce, does have wheat. So anyway, we get poisoned on the regular. And when Heather and I did our study abroad in Ecuador together, there were a number of students who had a wheat allergy just like I did. And we would have this very interesting pattern, which is we would all start having symptoms at the same time because we were eating meals together and some cook was careless. And so anyway, the pattern is symptoms. My symptoms include things like migraine headaches, gastrointestinal distress, the tingling of my hands when I go to bed, something about the way my nerves are compressed. A chronic cough is actually the thing that caused me to test the hypothesis that I had a wheat allergy. I did not expect that test to come back positive. I thought gluten allergies were nonsense at the time, well, mostly nonsense, and it turned out that the pattern was absolutely unambiguous. You have to take the wheat out of your diet for long enough to clear the inflammation, which is weeks. But if I do that, the inflammation goes away. What I had been diagnosed with, which was cough variant asthma, disappears completely. I'm cured. And then if I end up eating wheat, it comes rushing back. So what will happen if I eat some of this delicious, locally made, fresh bread, these croissants? I don't know. My concern is that the result will be a little ambiguous, that an initial interaction will not prompt the full response. What I would love to happen is to discover that I, like others, am not sensitive to European wheat. I rather doubt that, given the breadth of things that trigger me. But anyway, we're going to see. For the first time in more than a decade, I'm going to try something that I know has wheat in it, and we will find out. So stay tuned.